Well, you want to try and describe them, create a profile of them. Are they young? Are they old? What language do they speak? Do you know where they are? Do you know anything about their other interests? What do you know about their media habits? The reason this is so important is you can't reach everybody. Even Kim Kardashian didn't break the internet with everybody. So the more specific you can be, the better, because you can, it's cheaper. So you can actually, the more you can focus down on a particular target audience, the more likely you are to be able to reach them effectively and cost effectively. But also you can tailor your message and your content to that audience. We're not all the same. We don't speak the same languages. We don't have the same attitudes to life. We're not at the same life stage. So if you understand more about them, because you've really got a clear picture of them in your mind, you can craft your content to suit them, to relate to them, and to have an effect on them. So that's interesting. There's many ways to go around exploring the audience. One place to start is, who does it matter that your message gets through to? So, for example, we were working in the South African government's HIV/AIDS communications campaign, which was called the Komanani campaign. And we went and asked the doctors and the epidemiologists who understood how the disease was spreading and who could tell us which people were most vulnerable, most likely to either transmit or have HIV transmitted to them. And it turned out one of the most vulnerable groups was young women, post-puberty teenage young women, but also women in their 20s, that they, it turned out, were most likely to contract HIV. So we could then address those women in particular with messages and content that related to their lives. But we knew that if we reached those women effectively, if they heard our message and if they acted on it, then we'd have the most significant impact on the issue we were trying to address, which was reduce HIV transmission. There are different places to look for information, and really there's two different approaches. So first off, you can try and find data, especially around the media platforms or channels that you're planning to use. So if you're planning to use a newspaper, you can go and find out information on who that newspaper reaches. Does it reach old people or younger people? Does it reach professionals, or does it reach young students or school people? If you're working with radio, how broad is their signal? What's the geography of their audience? What language is it in? All of this information can help you understand the audience you're going to reach. That kind of data is available often from the media themselves. It's sometimes available from research organizations that collate that data. And it's also sometimes available from regulators. But the other approach is, if you've got this really good description of your audience, is go and find some people like that. Go and find the people you believe are the people you're trying to reach and talk to them. Discover what they're interested in. Discover what they feel or think about the issue you're addressing, and learn as much about them as you can. And then as you develop your content and your media, then go and test it with them. The more you test, the more feedback you get from them, then the more likely you're going to be effective and impactful in your communications with them. Often people in media tend to use themselves as a proxy for that audience they're trying to reach, but we're all different, and you may not be like the people you're trying to reach. You may not have the same values, you may not have the same attitudes or interests. So the more you spend time with your intended audience, the more likely it is you'll produce better media that's going to be effective in communicating with them.